What's up, guys? My name is Nick Sakha, and it has been almost 5 years since I quit my corporate job and started my business. In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the biggest things that I've learned between now and then. Stay tuned. Alright, so for those of you that don't know me or this is your first time watching, I own a few insurance businesses here in Las Vegas, Nevada. But before this, I was in banking. I was an employee for a bank for about 7 years, working my way up the corporate ladder, learning a ton. I mean, I learned a lot from sales, service, operations, working with successful teams, and I'm very grateful for all that I learned because it's helping me in my business today. But I ultimately knew that banking wasn't for me, that I was gonna have to quit that to go pursue something else. I wasn't quite sure what that was gonna be, but I just knew that I had to make a quit at some point and to go chase my purpose, to go chase my greatness. And although I did have a contingency plan, I had a somewhat of the resources available to make that leap. I wasn't fully prepared, and I actually didn't plan on jumping into the insurance industry after I quit. I went to go do something else, fell flat on my face, and then found my way, fumbled my way, honestly, to the insurance industry where I'm at today. And so although I don't recommend maybe some of you viewers just quit cold turkey, make sure that you have a contingency plan before you quit your corporate job, or have a contingency plan before you, or have some resources available to you before you quit. Even if you don't have those resources, and even if you don't have a full thought out contingency plan, I have faith that you'll find your way. And so I will start by saying that try to have a game plan. Have the best game plan that you can possibly have, but even if it's not perfect, you are gonna be okay, and that's my belief because that's how it worked out for me. So without further ado, I'm gonna get into some of the biggest things that I've learned between quitting my corporate job and 4 to 5 years later where I'm at today. So one of the biggest things that I've learned between now and less than 5 years ago is the power of focus and how we're capable of anything. And you're probably wondering, like, what does the power of focus have to do with quitting a job or taking a leap? And to me, it has everything to do with it, because I think that when we're working a job, we cannot see past that job. In our minds, that we're gonna die, or we're gonna like lose it all if we quit that job, and that we're afraid and we have this fear. But what we forget is that 8 hours that we're spending in that job or that career, we're gonna have all of that to be able to put to a focus on one singular thing. And so the power of focus and really believing that we're capable of anything, you know, when one door closes, more doors are gonna open because you're not looking at that door anymore. And so opportunities will come if we apply ourselves, if we focus on that one thing. We're capable of anything. And so the first thing that I learned, especially me being, you know, starting my business, was that I decided to just burn the boats, and there was no option to fail when I started my insurance agencies, and I focused 100% on it. And that's why we've been able to grow to where I'm at today, where we have 2 insurance agencies. We've grown to $4 million in premium in less than 4 years. And I have a story about burning the boats that I want to share with you guys, and this is how it goes. If you want to take the island, you burn the boats. Back in the day, the ancient Greeks, when they would arrive on an island that they would want to conquer, they discovered that if they had their boats ashore, then there was a possibility of retreat. The soldiers knew back in their mind that if the battle wasn't going their way, that they could get back on their boats and go home, right? But as a result, they wouldn't be 100% all in, and they wouldn't be giving their all if winning wasn't an absolute must. So instead, they would burn their boats so that they knew that failure was not an option. The only way they were going to get home was through victory and by taking their enemies' boats. This led to massive success since they were 100% all in, committed to winning and doing whatever it takes to win. And so if you plan on quitting, or if you want to quit your job, or you want to quit to go start a new job, or quit just to go start a business, or go start a YouTube channel, whatever it is that you want to do, the power of focus is not to be underestimated, and that we are capable of so much more. So that's that's my first big lesson for you guys of what I've learned in the last 5 years. The second thing that I learned during the last 5 years is that it really helps me when you smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. No, I'm just kidding. That's not what I learned, but if you would take a second to go ahead and lightly tap the like button, just because, you know, it's gonna help your boy grow this YouTube channel. So no, but in all actuality, thank you guys so much for doing that. The second thing, in no particular order, that I've learned in the last 5 years is gratitude, is being grateful for what I have has attracted more of what I want. And in the last 4 years, I've just waken up grateful. I've waken up looking for things to be grateful for. Some of them are business related, some of them are health related, just some of them are like, I can see this morning, and I just wake up grateful. And every time I leave my office and I lock the doors behind me, literally, I'm just in so much gratitude for everything. You know, I'm a believer of God, and I think that everything that God's done for me, I'm choosing to be grateful for. And how do I relate this to you guys, the audience, of if you're getting ready to, you know, quit your job, or maybe maybe you already have quit and you're looking for a different opportunity, just being grateful for maybe the opportunities that you have received will attract more of those opportunities. Maybe you started a business, and if you can be grateful for the few clients that you have, the few supporters that you do have, versus focusing on all the supporters that you don't have, you're going to attract more of those clients, more of those partnerships, more of those relationships, just ultimately more opportunities for you. And so the second biggest thing that I've learned, in no particular order, is just being grateful. Just finding things to be grateful. You know, I would walk into my office, and I stole that thing from DJ Khaled, where I pull my phone out and all of Instagram knew, where I'd be like, the sun is shining on me. The sun is shining. Right before I'd walk into the office, and people loved it. People just love the good vibes. People love the positive energy. And so just be grateful. You might not have much, but be grateful for what you do have, and in no time you will attract more of that. Another thing that I've learned is that life and business don't necessarily get easier. We just become better and more equipped to be able to handle life and business. A good example I can use is, I remember when I first started out working at Subway making sandwiches, I remember just learning the menu was hard. Like, wait, the BMT has how many pieces of ham, how many pieces of pepperoni and salami, and then just learning how to use the cash register was hard. And then I'm never gonna get this. And then of course, you know, weeks go by, and now there's a line to the door, and I'm like, how many sandwiches do you need, sir? 7? Bow, like, and they're out the door, you know, and then, you know, you just learn how to do things, and we become excellent at them. And an example I can use also is owning an insurance agency. There's so many different challenges that you experience as a business owner, and a lot of them are staffing, dealing with different personalities, making the wrong hires, making great hires, and learning how to keep people. You know, sometimes you have to, you know, unfortunately fire people because maybe they're not reaching sales goals, or maybe they did something unethical. And at first, when it first happens to you, you're like, oh my God, like, how am I ever gonna get this? This is so hard. But we build up this tolerance, and we just learn how to handle any and all situations. So we ultimately become better at dealing with all of our life's and business's circumstances, and that's how we grow. And of course, you know, I'm at 10 employees right now, but you know, when I was at 3, everything was so foreign to me. I was like, oh my goodness, like, this is happening, that's happening, calling my buddies up, my mentors up, like, hey, how would you handle this situation? And now I have a good handle of how to handle this stage of my business. It's like clockwork, it's automatic. But if I were to scale up to 100 employees, it's gonna be a whole lot different. I'm gonna have a whole lot of tolerance to build up to get to that point. And so what I'm telling all of you guys is that if you guys are starting in a new industry or starting in a new business, focus on becoming better each and every day, little by little, 1%, 2% better. That way you can handle all of the situations and circumstances that come your way. Jim Rohn has a saying that don't wish life were easier, wish that you were better. So that way you can handle all of these things that are happening, and so focus on becoming better. One of the last things that I've learned since quitting my job and taking this leap into business and into life really is to think bigger. You know, I created some goals back then in November 2016 when I first started this business, and I created a small goal of reaching $5 million in 5 years. Well, guess what? We're going to do that in less than 5 years. And it really, I mean, that was actually a very ambitious goal of mine. And as I reflect on that, like, what if I would have aimed for 10? Where would we be? You know, what if I would have thought a little bit bigger? And limited beliefs are the #1 dream killer for people. We just don't think big enough. And there's nothing wrong with creating a goal so high and falling short, you know, because even if you fall short, you'll be better than aiming low and actually hitting that target. And so I encourage all of you to really think big. If life were to have no limits, if you could actually attract and have every single thing that you want, what does that look like? What is that? Be specific, and never let anyone or anything, you know, deter you from thinking that way. So always think big. I know it sounds all cliche, and you probably heard a book that's like, think bigger, guys, and it's like those like high school paintings of like a whale like jumping out of the water, and they're like, think bigger. I mean, but it's so true. Just think bigger, because you never know what you're capable of. If you aim small, you're gonna get small, so be sure to think big. That way you get big. So if you guys have listened this far, I wanna thank you guys for taking time out of your busy days to watch this video. If you got some value out of it, please comment. Give us some things that have really helped you in the last couple years, some things that have changed your guys' life. Your guys' comments and engagement give me the oxygen to keep coming out with content, to keep coming out with weekly content for you guys. So I do appreciate all of you. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time.